Okay, so here we go. I have to sneeze. All right. Okay, let's try this again. So one more worksheet here, guys. Again, it's still practicing that slope and solving our multi-step equations, guys. All right, so let's read the directions. It's what we've been working on, but they're really good. I know they seem kind of corny, but they're really good practice for what we have to do here, okay? So it says write each equation in slope-intercept form. And let me remind you, slope-intercept form is this. So we want every equation to look like that, guys. Well, I haven't got that far yet. But yes, we're going to need them like that. Okay? So for 1 through 9, all you're going to do is take this information and put it into slope-intercept form. Okay? And then when you find that equation that you've come up with in slope-intercept form, you're going to find the letter down here, right? And then write the answer down here. Okay? Yes, it's just more practice. I just want you guys to be totally good at it. Okay? For 10, 11, guys, for 10 and 11, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to put it into slope-intercept form and then graph it. Okay? 12 and 13, you're going to graph on this one. 14 and 15, you're going to graph on this one. But I want us to do a couple together. All right. So you're going to need a couple things. You're going to need your list of directions. You're going to need to understand that this is the format that you're putting it into. Eyes up here, guys. And then you're going to need a separate sheet of paper to show your work. Okay, so problem number 1 says negative 6x plus 3y equals negative 9. Okay, so we're just going to work on this problem. Okay, do I have parentheses? So I'm not going to eliminate parentheses or use distributive property. Okay, not doing this or this. Can I combine like terms? This is an x, this is a y, that doesn't have anything, so no like terms to combine. Can I add the opposite? Yes. Okay, because remember, the format I wanted is y equals my slope times x plus or minus my b. Okay, so here's my b, here's my y, here's my x. So I want my x to move over to that side, right? So, not combining like terms, I need to add the opposite. What is the opposite of negative 6x?
Positive 6x.
So I'm going to add 6x to both sides. Okay. Negative 6x plus 6x equals what?
0.
It is 0. So I'm just going to cross it off. Has no value. It's useless to me. This says plus 3y, right? I'm just going to bring down my 3y. I don't need to bring down the sign because if it's not a minus sign, we know that it's positive. Okay? So next, do I want to bring my 6 times x or my negative 9? So I want to bring down my plus 6x and then my minus 9. And now it's close, right? But a very important thing is that I need this y all by itself. Question?
Why is it 6x negative 9 if it's positive 6x?
Because it's a negative 9.
So it'll always be negative?
As long as this, it's whatever this
so
number is.
positive
So if it was
9,
plus 9, it'd be plus 9. Okay? So now I need this the y all by itself. Divide by the coefficient of y. What's the coefficient of y? 3. So I'm going to divide every term by 3. 3 divided by 3 becomes what? 1, or just y. What is 6 divided by 3?
2.
What is negative 9 divided by 3?
2. No, 3. 3.
Negative, right? Alberto, negative 3. I heard you. Now, I have it in the format that I want it. Y equals 2x minus 3. So let's look at our answers. Where is it?
It's right there. There. It's It's on number U.
There we go. So number 1 is going to be U. So we go down to the bottom. We find 1, and we write a U. Okay? This one. You guys were struggling with...
What's the both U's, right?
Huh?
It's the both U's, right?
Yeah, is there more than one 1?
Yeah, there's 2 U's.
No. Only 1 U.
No, there isn't.
Yeah, there. Okay, it's this U.
Oh, yep.
Okay, make sure you're crossing off the right one. No, no, no.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
All right. All right. You guys struggled yesterday with problems like 8 and 5, right? And 9. So we're going to do some like that. So let's go ahead and start with number 5. We're going to do it together just so that I make sure you guys really understand what it is that we're working on. So number 5 says x minus 4y minus 8 equals 0. Okay? Now remember, I want it in this format. So my y is on this side already, right? So's my x and so's my 8. Okay. I'm just going to go, I mean, there's more than one way to do this. But we're going to make sure that we stay consistent with what we've been doing. Okay. So I need my x moved over here, and I need my 8 moved over here. So what's really in front of this x? Juan, right? He's hiding. So we need to move this x over. How do I move that x over? Addition or subtraction? Addition or subtraction? It's positive, so I want to do the opposite. So I want to subtract it. And I'm going to subtract it on this side too. Okay. Now I could stop here and then rewrite my equation, or I could do 2 steps at once. Okay. But I don't want to confuse y'all. So I want to make sure that I'm doing it 1 step at a time. Okay. Negative 1 minus 1 becomes a 0. Negative 4y. I bring it down. Make sure that because it's negative, you're bringing down that sign. That's super important. And then bring down the rest of the equation. 0 minus 1x is minus 1x. Right? So now I need to move this 8. How do I move that negative 8? What's the opposite of negative 8? So I'm going to add 8 to both sides. Okay, now I have my negative 4y. That comes straight down. Kevin? Negative 8 plus 8 is 0, so it eliminates, right? I'm going to bring down what I have here, minus 1x and plus 8. Now I'm in the pretty good format there, but my y isn't by itself. Okay, so I need to go ahead and do something. How do I do? Divide everything by that coefficient of negative 4. And that's super important that you're paying attention to the sign there. Okay. So this becomes a 1. And then y is equal to, right? A negative divided by a negative becomes positive 1 over 4. And that's okay to have a fraction there for my slope. We want it. But what is a positive 8 divided by a negative 4?
Negative 3.
Okay, so now it's in the right format. Okay, let's see if we can find it. Y is equal to 1/4 x minus 2. I see it. Do you see it?
No.
It's E, right? So number 2 is, or what number is that? Number 5 is E.
Yes. E or B?
It's E.
Camilo, do you want to share something with us?
No.
All right, so let's look at one more. Let's look at number 8.
Number 9.
I am, but first I'm doing number 8. X plus 5y equals 8x minus 20. Now this one's confusing you guys because I have x on both sides of the equal sign, right? But it shouldn't, because it's just a way of combining that like term. We're just using inverse operation to do so. Okay, so this is really Juan x, right? I'm adding the 1 there. What side do I want this 1x? On this side, with this 8, right? So how do I move this 1? I'm going to subtract it, minus 1x. But instead of putting it off to the side, I can actually subtract it from that existing 8. Okay? I'm not adding another term. I can, this is the like term, so I can subtract it from there. So I'm going to go ahead and bring down my 5y. And 8 minus 1 is what? So that becomes 7x minus 20. And then I can finish this equation just by doing what? Dividing all terms by that coefficient of y, and that number is what?
It's 5.
Right. Okay, and then I can finish it from there. What does y equal? Y equals what?
Y. Equals 1 plus y. Negative 5. Positive 5.
Okay. This is y. What is it equal to? What's on the other side of that equal sign? What do I write next?
Oh, so 7 was
I cannot simplify this. Okay? What is negative 20 divided by 5? Negative what? Thank you. Okay? That's my answer. I'm going to do one more with you guys. So, y equals 5x minus 4. What letter is it? It's the other E. So number 8 is also E. All right, so let's do one more. I'm going to do number 9 with you because it's distributive property. So minus 2 times 3y minus 1 minus x equals 0. And this is where this comes in handy. Okay, so do I have parentheses to eliminate?
Yeah.
In order to eliminate them, I have to use my distributive property. So I'm going to multiply negative 2 times 3y, and then I'm going to multiply negative 2 times a negative 1. Okay, so what is negative 2 times positive 3y? Perfect, negative 6y. And my second term is negative 2 times a negative 1. Write this down. What is negative 2 times a negative 1?
Positive 1. Positive 2, but positive 2, my bad.
Positive 2, because 2 times 1 is 2. A negative times a negative gives me a positive. Now I'm going to bring down the rest of my equation. Minus x equals 0. Okay? So now, do I have any, I use my distributive property to eliminate my parentheses. Do I have any like terms?
Yes.
Nope, no like terms. Can I now move stuff over? Yes. I can move my x, right? What's in front of x? 1. So I have a negative 1x. How do I move him? Which is? Plus 1x, right? So I'm going to do that to both sides. I'm going to bring down my minus 6y. Bring down my plus 2. And then over here I have a positive 1x. Sorry. Right? What's the next thing I need to move now? The 2. So what's the inverse of plus 2? Perfect. So I'm going to subtract 2. Right? 2 minus 2 becomes 0. What do I bring down then? Negative 6y. Make sure that negative is included. And then I just bring down my 1x and bring down my minus 2. So far, so good, right? Last thing that I need to do is either multiply by the reciprocal or divide by the coefficient. It's not a fraction, so I'm going to divide by the coefficient. And what is that coefficient? Negative 6. Make sure you divide by that negative. And some of you guys, you get in the habit of just writing 6, even though you know it's negative. Make sure you're including that negative, because it does change your answer. If you end up dividing by 6, even though you know it's negative, your answer will be different. Okay? This becomes 1. Now I have a negative down here. So it becomes negative 1 over 6. My x tags along. And both of these are negative, so it's going to be a positive. But can I divide 2 divided by 6? No, but can I simplify it? Here's where some of you guys get confused with the simplifying. 2 and 6, you can divide both of these numbers by 2, right? Both of them are members of the same fact family. So I'm going to divide them both by 2. What is 2 divided by 2? And what is 6 divided by 2? And it's okay to have a fraction there. Okay? So let's go ahead and look at our answer key, our answer, and see if we find one that has a fraction at the end. Look at that. That has a fraction. Is that it?
Yep.
So n, or 9, is n. Okay, so those are some really good examples for you. That's an example of every type of problem we've had on this worksheet. So make sure you have all the work shown on your work. And when you turn in your assignment tomorrow, make sure you have that extra work attached to it. Any questions? You have the rest of the period to wrap this up.